Interesting moments for Nigeria there. Just moments ago, we saw that coming through 2-0 against Iceland. But we continue with the budget 2018. The National Assembly has explained that the adjustment made in the 2018 budget are to correct the alleged imbalance in the appropriation bill presented by the President, Muhammadu Buhari. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, in a statement jointly signed by the House of Representatives Razak Namdas in Abuja on Friday, also replied criticisms made by the President Muhammadu Buhari that federal lawmakers amended the 2018 budget. The statement reads in part, adjustment and reductions in the location, cost and number of projects approved were made in order to address geopolitical imbalances that came with the executive proposal. Let's analyze this further, as I'm now being joined by Oji Udemezue. He is indeed an economist, to look at this properly. You saw the responses that were coming through even after Mr. President signed that 2018 budget of consolidation. But did the National Assembly do anything wrong in introducing new projects, do you think?
Before I answer this question again, but if you allow me, let me say that what's happening here is ordinarily meant to, bring out the beauty of democracy. Or on the sad note, it actually also underscores the problems that a nation can face when there is no healthy, mutually respectful and cordial relationship between the executive and the legislature. Of course, the judiciary too.
You're saying this because
when leaders
they're from the same party.
When leaders, whether in the same party or not, once you win election, both the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary are meant to work for the best interest of Nigerians. So while they, of course, hold themselves accountable, there must be some level of collaboration, some level of healthy relationship, amongst them. So when that fails, when the executive does not have any regard for the legislature, you can see the kind of fight they have. Somebody is being invited, the person is not going. The president is seeing the Senate or the National Assembly as, just a rubber stamp. He can do whatever he wills, and they were fighting with him. So this is the consequence of that. Okay. But in answering your question as to, whether they have the right to, of course, that's why they are there. In Nigeria, we have got to a point where it appears that a president of this nation actually has the right to do whatever he likes. We're not running an autocratic system of government. We're running a system of government where the three major arms of government must be accountable to one another. Of course, the National Assembly are the closest representative of our people. Not the ministers, not the president. Those who go to represent you and I from our different constituencies, are the members of the House of Representatives and those who are in the Senate. So they are supposed to play a key role in the, budget planning, in trying to say, these are the needs of my people. These are the things I think my people will need here and there. These are the complaints I'm receiving from my constituencies. So in that sense, and of course, backed by, very clear provisions in the Constitution of the Federal Republic, the National Assembly has the right to review, to make comments, to adjust, to add, to remove the contents of national budget once it is so presented by the President. And this was done as far back as November 2017.
This is what we know also.
Here we are.
Just the button. This is what we also know. They listed about 24. Some of those projects, 24 of them, added to the 2018 appropriation bill, and the lawmakers said that they did this as a result of the increase in the benchmark of price of crude oil, and they were duly appropriated by the National Assembly after full consultations and in many cases request by executive branch through the Ministry of Budget and National Planning. Yeah. Is this the case? Is this a case of a gap that is being created?
I don't know,
because the executive was fully in the know about this, and the legislators were also in the know about this. But the presidency seems to be the missing link.
Horse trading and politicking in this whole thing. In my mind, these leaders of this great nation are playing politics with the lives and of the ordinary Nigerian.
How?
They are playing chess. This whole calculation is about maybe the upcoming election. Who has more funds to appropriate?
How are they playing politics with it?
They are playing politics with it because they are not considering the life of ordinary Nigeria. June ending, we haven't started appropriating 2018 budget.
Are you saying that this is a selfish
fight? Totally selfish. both from the National Assembly point, with all due respect to them, because
but you know, the people would disagree with you. People would disagree with you because this is a budget that has gone through so many months
months of
verification.
And
at this, and finally got the assent of Mr. President.
This budget was presented sometime in November 2017, and according to the Senate in their response, they said that because the president actually accused them of holding the budget for no reason until this moment. The president was trying to pass the buck while the budget is being passed so late in the day. Last year we had similar thing. The budget was passed only about June 5th, 2017. For a nation that knew that 2017 was going to start January 1. Okay, so now the president passed the buck to them that they delayed it to this point. And they replied and they said, this happened because the president could not get the heads of his ministries, the ministries, departments, and agencies to come and send their budget to the National Assembly to review and to, appropriate and, make corrections. And they were coming one by one, taking their time, giving excuses, and they're also coming with amendments after the president presented, his budget, the proposal. That many MDAs, were still coming to, plead for amendments, which they, out of their generosity, allowed to continue until about April. So when you look at the delay, the president cannot, in all honesty, exempt the executive of his government from the delay. But the point we're making now is that while this whole delay happens, Nigerians are suffering. Quite rightly, the president mentioned that the budget, even though it represents about 10% or less of total spend in the economy in a year, compared to our GDP, but you find that that spend, a lot of companies in the public sector, in the private sector, hold a lot of their decisions until the budget is announced. So the budget being run actually impacts the economy very significantly. And when there's a delay, a lot of other things are delayed. The spend from the MDAs, the ministries, departments, and the agencies of government are also delayed. Private sector activities are also delayed. Contracts, awards, and both recurrent and capital expenditure parts are also delayed. So the economy is being held to ransom.
Okay,
that's where I'm saying they're playing politics with our lives.
That's a good place to let it rest. Oji Udemezue, he is indeed an economist and looking at the budget 2018 and the repercussions and the outcomes of it. Many thanks indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation. We're going to come back in just a moment after this break, and we'll focus on the APC convention that will be taking place hours from now. Join us again.